Now, if you're ready, we will begin.
Welcome to the Marla and Dave Radio Show. This is reality radio with a couple that keeps it real. Current events, pop culture, music, relationships, fitness, the hot topics of the day. Marla and Dave Thomas. This is the Marla and Dave Radio Show. Real radio.
Welcome to the Marla and Dave Show.
Yeah!
Marla, are you there at all? I guess so. Anyway, guys, I want you to know right off the bat, those of you who have already tuned in and you're waiting there online patiently, I too am seeing the message that says could not load the media. Please, what'd you say, Tony? Please refresh, as our esteemed producer is telling me to remind you, refresh your browser and it'll pop right back up. So that's what I'm doing right now. And 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm going to have a long one because it's still working.
Here. It's kind of weird. There I am.
Is yours working, Marla? Anyway, okay, so I see it there. Don't quite see the picture of myself yet, but that means it's working. Boom, we're good.
Dave, hold on. Here's the deal.
Yeah, tell me the deal. Of course I hear you. Okay, I don't hear you now. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say welcome to Osmond, Lisa, Nicole, Greg, everybody online right now. We're going to have a good time. We are here in the studio with 3 of the members. I was going to say 2, but I guess I'm a member of the group Take 6 as well.
Wait, Dave, what? I'm back.
Okay, you're going to have to either stay here or be quiet. I'm just joking. Marla, go ahead. It's your show too, I guess.
Okay, first of all, welcome to the Marla and Dave Show. This is kind of weird because let me just explain that you guys, I was trying to see the show online and talk to you live in time, but it's kind of weird that that's happening. And I'm pretty sure that Claude and Dave and Alvin have gotten together and figured out a way to double loop me so they can shut me up. It's not going to work, fellas.
Well, we know that we can never shut you up, sweetheart. So there you go.
Oh, now I'm sweetheart since I'm on Skype. I get it.
Yeah. Since you're not here in the studio, guess what? I'm in your seat, as a matter of fact. Tony said,
what, Dave?
I can be the boss today.
You're out of control, for the record.
Take that. I'm the boss today.
Well, let's get into the week in review.
There you go.
While you guys were gone to Japan, my first particular episode of Love and Hip Hop aired. And I've now challenged people, which will probably get, hopefully most of the calls today will be about the new Take 6 release, because that is why we're here. However, I'm a little perturbed that Ratchet is ruling. So, Moniece has gotten a chance to go on and she's done interviews and, talked about, the state of our relationship or whatever. And fellas, when I go to say something on the main sites or in social groups, I am shut completely down. As a matter of fact, I had a comment that was deleted on VH1. What the hell?
Yeah, I had to laugh at that myself. As a matter of fact, when you said it, I went there. I said to myself, maybe they're just waiting. It's a delay when the comment goes up. I never saw the comment. So you said you put it up. I never saw it the first time before you even said it got deleted. So I guess they're out for you. They're out for you. They're going to get you.
They're not going to get anything.
They're going to get you.
What they're going to continue to get is the truth. So
now, here's the other thing. Now, don't let the ratchetness rub off on you, because before we came on air, you sounded a little ratchet yourself.
I just said shut the hell up. That's not ratchet.
No,
because hell is in the
you
Bible.
said more than that, Ratchet Jr.
Okay. Well, yeah. You know what? It may be a virus. Maybe Ratchet is a virus. Maybe I am being
the good thing about my position is you're on Love and Hip Hop. Moniece is on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. You guys can't talk about certain things, but I didn't sign anything. I can say anything I want.
So I think that's a good idea, Dave. Represent for me. Bring it home, son. Alvin and Claude, unite. I supported you guys through the years. Speak out on behalf of the Marla.
I want to hear it.
No, Marla, here's the thing. Usually you have your little glam squad come to the house before you come to the Marla and Dave show. Your hair is all laid. Your makeup is done did. You're just fleeked out.
Fleeky.
You're not looking your normal fleeked self.
I don't.
You want to explain? You want to explain yourself?
Right,
I didn't say you're looking bad. I'm saying you're not looking your normal fleeked out self.
Dave, did you come here to fight in front of your friends because you think that they can protect you? Is that
I'm
what you're
giving
doing?
you a chance to explain your lack of fleek.
Dave, I was born fleeking, son.
Okay.
I'm
Is
just
that how
saying.
you want to leave it?
Here's what I want to say. Normally, I do have someone come do my makeup, but what I would like to say is I'm more comfortable like this. This is my me. And if you think that this is beautiful, then you can think that I'm actually beautiful inside and out, which is what I tend to want to think about myself. But if you like me in the mask, then, the mask will be back. Stay tuned.
Well, I was giving you a chance to explain that you were playing tennis. You got beaten at tennis, as usual,
David,
I would have to say.
I didn't want to go into
sad
all
to
of that.
say that. I'm sad
I
to
had
say
no
that you
interest.
usually
I had no
lose at
interest in sharing
tennis.
that info. Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Anyway, all right, so as Marla kind of let the cat out the bag, we're in the studio with three of the members of Take Six. We have a brand new project. We have a single that's actually out right now, When Angels Cry, and we're going to get into a little discussion about that, the process of recording in the studio, how we feel about the song being released, and some of the comments that we're starting to receive.
And can I say that before we go on, before we even get into this, I need Tony to play my mood song. Hit me, Tony.
Say what you need to say. 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 Say what you need to say.
Okay, I think we get it.
Are you going to sing, Marla? I mean, really? You just played the song?
I think we get it.
Hey, wait a minute. Is Claude? I can't see him, and that's really good right now because I'm good with hand gestures. What are you saying, Claude?
I'm saying I thought we gave you singing lessons a long time ago, and I was waiting to hear you.
Let me tell you something, Claude. I did get singing lessons, and I got them from Frank McComb, as a matter of fact, who did.
All right.
Oh, so you're throwing down.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, you're going for it.
See what I'm saying?
Now,
My
Marla,
brothers
explain that mood song for us. What's the implication there?
The mood song is really today. I really want, it's so hard to always, when you're an artist, Take Six, you guys do what you do to the highest level. I've heard so much and seen so much praise and yet criticism. But when you're creating, it's such a personal process that I really want today for you guys to get the spirit of what I call responsible honesty and just say what you need to say. Because I think that it's time for the fans to understand the depth of thought, prayer, creativity, and execution that goes into a career that spans in excellence over 28 years of time. That's it.
Okay, I like that. Well, Tony, you might as well play my mood song. Hit me.
Let's start over. We can't let our good luck die.
That's
Maybe
right.
we can start
That's right.
over.
Yeah.
Love another life and
All right, thank you, Tony.
So hold on.
No,
You
wait,
want to start your love over with the guys or your fans or what? That was really weird right there. I'm not there.
Let me
You're there with
explain.
the guys and you want to start your love over.
Let
Can you
me
talk to me about
explain.
that?
So every time we put out a new project, it's almost like, starting over. Because you got to go through all the same, the press and go through the feelings of, are people going to like it? Are people not going to like it? Or sometimes you feel like, I don't care whether they like it or not. This is what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do. So it's just like starting over.
Okay, well, look, we're going to start the show when we get back from the news, but just know that the word went out that Take Six was working on the new project. And of course, all the inquiring minds wanted to know more details, including me. So I started asking some of the questions myself for the fans. Trust me, at home, poor Dave and Alvin and all the members that would encounter me from time to time. But regardless of my interrogation, all the specifics were under lock and key. They weren't really sharing. And then finally, as we started to hear bits of the album, last week, their first single, When Angels Cry, dropped. And now the inquiring minds have more questions than ever. And today, the goal is to get to those answers. So whatever you do, stay tuned, don't move, and feel free to call in our show, 323-284-7826, and have your own questions and get your own questions answered. We'll be right back.
Let's get to the news.
You're listening to the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network. Current events, pop culture, the hot topics of the day. It's time for Mad News on the Marla and Dave radio show. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
Okay. Well, we're here with the news, and we like to do our news. For those of us who are just joining us here, welcome. But there are certain things about the Marla and Dave show that are always. The mad news is one of them. And we usually cover 3 news stories, and our first one is always a shocking news story.
Marla,
that's bizarre.
I don't know where you got this news story from, but when I actually looked at it, because we've been in Japan, Take 6 has been in Japan, so I did not see this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm
going to award this, which we don't give news awards, but today this warrants an award. This is the dumbest criminal award ever. Guy steals a car.
Yeah.
And he had stolen 2 cars.
No, he's probably on a little spree there. He's just stealing cars.
He's stealing cars, but he gets some paperwork that he needs to pick up from the police station.
No, he leaves some paperwork in one of the cars that he has stolen.
That's correct.
And he abandoned it, and the police found the car, but they found his paperwork in the back seat, and they called him up and said, hey, you need to come get this paperwork. It's nothing deep. He says, okay. He comes to the police station in another stolen car.
He steals a car and goes to the police station to pick up his papers in a stolen car.
Yeah, I guess maybe he thought it was one of those rideshare kind of situations where you just pick up any car you want to and take it whenever you want to and go anywhere you want to.
Well, you just used a word that clearly wasn't in play. He thought. He wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
That's a word that we're not going to use
he was picked
in
up.
relation to the story. So the next news story that we like to do is always our he said, she said, which is usually some type of celebrity news. And you know what? Since all the fellas are in the studio, I'm going to give you guys a chance to choose between Shia LaBeouf, who, had a little incident, or Justin Bieber. Which one would you guys like to hear about?
I read about both of them, so I have to. I read about both of them, so I have to recuse myself.
I think
I think the Justin Bieber situation is about him being naked and showing his junk. So I'm pretty sure we don't want to talk about that.
Yes, we're not going to talk about Shia LaBeouf. We're going to talk about Justin Bieber.
Well, the problem with the reason why we don't want to talk about Justin Bieber is because we're not believers, especially in seeing his penis.
Right. We don't need to talk about
let me just explain to you something that, Justin has grown up. The Bieber member came across, it was news. It was out there. He was in Bora Bora. But here's what's the kicker. His management team is now suing all the media outlets or whatever, whoever took the picture.
Please take the pictures down. Because his member did not grow up.
Justin's photograph. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. The fact that there should be some limits, but I don't know. I don't know. But right now it's too bad because once people have to start thinking. Once it's out there, it's out there. And Justin's junk is now out there.
Marla, can you hear us?
But there's Stallone had some stuff out there, and Brad Pitt had some stuff out there, and I think they weren't able to go on.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff I don't think was online. You know what I'm saying? That was back in the day.
And the Bieber-aged fans are pretty prolific with their social networking.
Right.
So,
you can capture that junk.
He's not going to put that back in the bag.
Put it on your wall.
I like that, Claude, that junk. I heard that.
Anyway, let's move on. While we were in Japan, we were confused as to what school shooting they were talking about because it seemed like all of a sudden in the middle of the night here in the States, there was a shooting. And then a few hours later, it seemed like there was another shooting.
Right.
So we were confused as to what's going on here.
So there were 2 school shootings, and this brings us to our agree to disagree. Once again, I'm going to make the statement for the final time. We are unwinding as a society. Guns are a result of people who are twisted. So to me, mental illness and people who are imbalanced is the problem. Guns are not our first primary concern. A healthy person doesn't kill innocent people.
Yeah, but while I understand the mental illness issue, I'm not sure what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because if that mentally ill or challenged person has an access to a gun or has access to buying a gun or there's a gun in the home, I'm pretty sure that if the gun wasn't there, the mentally challenged person could not kill anybody. It's the access to the gun that is a big part of the issue as well.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. Fix the head, fix the problem. That's my stance.
Clean up the access. That's my stance. Anyway, that's the mad news. Back to the show.
Can you handle the truth? Then get ready for a real radio experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
All right, so let's get right to it. We're going to, Marla has some questions here, and I have Claude and Alvin with me so that half of Take 6, take 1/2, take 0.5, is going to actually try to get to all your questions.
How can you call it take 0.5? That's not even cool.
Isn't that funny?
If it's 6, what's the actual mathematic breakdown, Alvin and Dave and Claude? It's not, isn't it 3/3 of a whole? I don't know.
3.
Well, 3/3 of a whole? What? What?
Yeah, math wasn't her strong suit.
Isn't it 1/2 of a fraction? I don't know.
Yeah, and 0.5, which is the same as 0.50, which is the same as 50%. That is half.
Thanks, smart ass.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. There you go with your ratchetness again. Careful.
Now you've solved that. But in the meantime, guys, Alvin and Claude, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, guys, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
And Dave, welcome to your own
yes,
show.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. Thank you. I'm on the hot seat. Wow. So what you guys don't, Marla, you probably aren't seeing this, but the listeners in the chat room are already getting into, are the fans, Take 6 fans, rude for some of the comments that they've been leaving online, or are they not rude? What's going on? Osmond said he has no idea what anyone's talking about.
I'm in that same boat too.
Yeah. So do you want to jump right in?
Let me update you guys since you've been gone, and let me update our public. Take 6, for those of you who are just joining us, and we do have a lot of new people who are beginning to tune into the Marla and Dave show. Take 6 is a 6-part harmony a cappella vocal group. Period. Now, when I call, I'm breaking it all the way back down.
Now, let me just stop you there. When you say we're an a cappella vocal group, that is part of what we do, but we do other things as well. Clearly,
right.
Well, I'm talking about the history.
Yeah.
When I'm saying that your claim to fame and your excellence came in an a cappella arena done like no one has done before or yet to do in the history of music when it comes to what the 6 of you can do with a cappella. Period. We agree, right?
I would agree with that. I think how we were introduced to the industry is how you're describing it, but that's like almost 30 years ago. So
right. So this is right. This is what I'm saying. But I'm with you, Alvin. We're on the same page because I'm now going back to the new listener who's like, well, who is Take 6? They may be logging on to hear anything else or about something else.
Yep.
And this was your root. This was your foundation.
Right.
And the group has gone on through the years to record various genres of music, which is what was very interesting in the beginning. The complexity of what you do and the musical perfection in what you do landed you in the genre of gospel, jazz, pop,
right,
Christian, contemporary Christian. You could walk into a record store right off the bat, and I have seen your CDs and back in the day albums filed under any of those genres in different record stores. You could go across town and it'll be listed somewhere else.
Right.
Exactly.
Good point. Good point.
Great point, Marla.
Yeah, Marla, you're doing a fine job there.
She did her homework.
Telling us who we are.
We are paying her well.
Yes, and I will expect checks at the end of this.
Marla, let me stop you right quick. Remember, guys, 323-284-7826 is the number to call. Someone was calling earlier while we were literally getting started with the intro, and we couldn't get to the call. Call back. We definitely want to hear from you guys. We want to talk to you, not at you.
So with that, your career has traveled through all types of genres, and to be honest, for the most part, you've nailed everything with excellence. But there has been an undertow of the complex listener. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it clear. The person who is really a music critic or a creator or understands music to its root, it appreciates you guys on a whole nother kind of level.
Okay, not your casual listener.
Right. So there have been groups I'm back to the criticism. There's a gentleman who launched a Facebook group of literally, I'll call them diehard and appreciative Take Six fans called Take Six Universe.
And for the record, you don't see it, but Powerhouse is in the house today.
Okay. And good. Welcome, Powerhouse. Anyway, Julio Powerhouse. What is that?
Yeah.
What are all these tag names? Anyway, welcome to the show. But at the same time, for those who are listening, so these groups are music appreciation groups where fans of a like mind have kind of gathered together, and there was an expectation, and there was such secrecy around this last project that you guys are literally just beginning to you dropped the single last week. I haven't heard the album in its entirety because I don't even think that you're ready to present that as of yet. But speculation was brewing like a crock pot, and everyone wants what they want. When it comes to what they want you as a group to do as musicians, period. And it seems as if, which is why I asked the question in that group, are you guys just spoiled as fans? Are you just critical? It's confusing because that's what we're really getting. You're getting a undertow of what we want to hear. Now, I would like for at any point you guys to introduce your own song. The new song, which is "When Angels Cry," and let's play the whole thing. Let's play it with its with the video, and then let's talk about it. What do you think?
Well, you've already done that. So, guys, do you want to give an introduction to the song?
Yeah. Okay. I think when we started out, we just sat around, we were writing, and we were just talking about concepts. And at the time, we took this one on. Ross's approach was more than
Vanelli.
Ross Vanelli was more than the issue of the school shootings or anything like that. We had just come through all of those church burnings, and and it was like basically a confrontation of the races. And it's like, aren't we better than this now? This 2015, yeah. And if there's any place that's sacred, it should be a church. Not that you are a member of it, but just allowing
disagree
people,
everywhere else, but don't burn down the church.
That's where children go to pray, and it's the refuge for everyone. And how could we get to this point? Now that's where the spirit was, and I think. I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I don't know what the thoughts are out there. But I think the approach that we're looking at it is to make it's something that we learned a long time ago with our first executive producer Jim Ed Norman, which was make songs as strong as they can be. Yeah. Have a production that serves the song.
Serves the song.
If you're in a cappella mode and it really works well, go there. If it needs strings, do that. If it needs, just per cappella or guitars or whatever, go
per
there.
cappella, what's that?
Yeah, percussion and vocals.
Right.
We call that per cappella.
I'm learning.
So that's the approach. And
I think Alvin made a really great point earlier. We've been around almost 30 years. And I think that I will speak directly to what I heard you saying, Marla, about the fans. I think to a certain extent they have been spoiled in what it is they've gotten from us. Spoiled in a good way. I think that we've always wanted to give them as high a quality as possible and do the things that impress us and impress other people. And I think we've come almost full circle to the extent that sometimes, I think more often than sometimes, you have to say, wow, what does the song need?
Right.
And whatever the song needs, you sit down then and say, this is the production for this particular song. We wanted this song, When Angels Cry, to be as accessible as possible. And if that meant less is more, then that's what it needed. And we've gotten some incredible comments on it. Now, of course, it's going to be the kind of thing where they're going to be hardcore fans who say, wow, that's not what I expect from you guys. And we understood that there may be criticism as far as that's concerned. But again, our message is to go out there and try to send this song and any and everything that we feel a little bit more accessibility with out to everyone that we can.
And I think that is the main key, make the project accessible. And I think, over the years, to be honest with you, some of our fan base, because of the way the music business has kind of gone through changes, our fan base started to dwindle a little bit. And so we want to actually reintroduce Take Six to the masses. And so sometimes the record business, the industry is not like it used to be. So to be that accessible, sometimes you have to do things a little differently.
And when you do something differently, it means to pivot.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you
That you
change
leave.
everything up. Right.
Right.
But pivot to where you feel you can be strongest.
Right.
And don't leave what it is you're doing, because we're
Well,
still
well,
an acapella.
You don't get a new
question
wife.
for
You just actually change positions. Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
Let me ask you a
Sure.
question.
I'm sure.
According to Take 6, what is the difference? Explain to me the difference between pivoting and departing. What is a departure in the minds of the six of you?
Let me put
and
it
what's
this
a
way.
pivot?
Let me put it
What's a
this way.
turn versus a severance of?
Right. That's a great question. Great question. I think that for us, the entire album will incorporate some of what you have already heard in the single. We'll have a cappella on the record, and we'll have other things that are in between. I think that's how you pivot. You do enough that continues to capture your solid fan base, and then you also try to go out and get new fans as well, and reintroduce as well. You don't leave who you are and say we're just not that anymore, because we are the kings of acapella. I will use that term.
Yes.
So that's our
Marla, why
pivoting.
don't we go ahead and play the song, and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out with the actual video, because this conversation is a really, really, really good conversation to have, and I do want to play the whole video. Do you guys even know the length of time on the song?
On the actual video, I'm not sure. It's
On
409.
this
So
particular
in
topic,
other words, you
based
better
on
go
what
ahead and
we're
play it.
talking about now, if there's anyone in that room who wants to call in and ask a question now in relation to this particular conversation, feel free. 323-284-7826. If there's something on your mind about this particular single, what you've heard so far, and what the inspiration is, what the approach is, how somebody. Dave, I have a question.
Well, Marla, we need to play the song because we're going to run out of time.
No, Dave, I have a clock here.
You're going to
Dave,
have to. You're going to have to actually wait just a minute.
27 minutes, Dave. I'm counting.
Oh, Marla, what? You have a
Don't-
clock?
Don't play with me, Dave.
Okay.
This is
okay,
this
I
is
hear
the
you.
Marla and Dave
Hey,
show. Okay, Tony,
you
we'll
know
play
what?
the song
You are
now. Thank
on
you.
top of it. Excuse me.
Tony, yeah, okay, I'm ready. Tony, we'll play the song.
When Angels Cry.
I was walking down the road that leads to hope, where souls in desperation need to go. I see the glow, but something's wrong. It seems the light of love is gone. They've destroyed the place where children go to pray. Now I'm staring at the walls the fire's missed, casting shadows on the world that now exists. Now the church must live within. We can build these walls again, but for now I pray for mercy on our souls. Angels cry when innocence is shattered, and the love for your brother no longer matters. Now our faith is on the ground. The house of God is burning down, and we're standing in the ashes of our shame when angels cry. I'll be the first to extend my hand to you, and forgiveness will begin to heal our wounds.
It's time to see this eye to eye. Brown or yellow, black or white. From these burning embers, we can rise again. Oh, angels cry when innocence is shattered. And the love for your brother no longer matters. Now our faith is on the ground. The house of God is burning down. And we're standing in the ashes of our shame when angels cry. Ooh, hey. Can we try to hear the pain when angels cry? Only love can lead to change. Try to hear the pain when angels cry. Oh, when angels cry. All
Okay.
right, there you go. When Angels Cry, the new single from Take Six. And you know what? We don't want anyone to be confused. While we were talking about some of the negative comments or people who really wanted our project to be something that, they conceived, which is a little strange. Quite honestly, the overwhelming response has been extremely positive. People are moved to tears over this song, so we're absolutely pleased with that.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are.
So that is very true. And we've got a lot of questions in the chat room. We've heard the single, we've seen the video, which I've got questions about that. So just do me a favor, get a cool drink, whatever suits your little fancy, and don't move. We'll be right back after this break with more Take Six.
Hey guys, listen up. Learn something. 26 years of marriage from two unique perspectives equals 52 years of relationship experience. It's time for Ask Marla and Dave. Answers to your questions about life, love, and relationship based on Marla and Dave's real life experience. It's about to get real. Ask Marla and Dave.
Oh, this is easy, Dave.
Yeah, this is a good one. But let me remind people right off at the beginning, Ask Marla and Dave is where you ask us a question and we honestly give you our opinion. It's that simple. You go to www.marlandave.com. You go to the Ask Marla and Dave page, put your information in. It comes right back to us, and we get to it online. Marla, the question for today, I'm going to start with you, is this. The person writes in and says, I have a simple question. Is honesty always the best policy?
Yes and no. I think honesty is the best policy and there's no substitute for honesty. But I think that what I've learned as I've matured as a person, there's responsible honesty. And let me explain what I mean. I don't think you serve anybody by being dishonest to someone, but I think you do more harm by using honesty to hurt people.
Right.
So if you just throw the truth at somebody just because, and you're coming from a place that has no concern, care, or love, then to me, honesty is not the best policy. To actually care and be responsible, and love trumps honesty in that case. And love is something that is always concerned with the end outcome, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for me, I completely agree with you, even though there have been times when I have felt that was a slippery slope. But I always come back to, in the end, love trumps all. But yes, honesty is a part of love, though. And so while it's important to always tell the truth, how you use that truth, if you use it as a weapon, it's not cool.
Well, let me say this too, Dave, since I have a little bit of time. That's interesting because one of the questions I'm being asked a lot is, now that I'm doing reality TV, how real is reality? Well, for me, my story is very real. However, the presentation of what you may see at any given time will not allow for you to see every comma and period. So when you talk about it as honesty the best policy, it is the best policy, but you have to be careful when you're actually including the grand scope of the theater of drama and calling something that may not be the whole truth, the truth. So
Right.
that's my warning for today.
Okay, and well taken. Point well taken. Again, if you want to ask a question to Marla and or I, or both of us, Marla and Dave, you go to the Ask Marla and Dave page on the Marla and Dave website, www.marlandave.com. We are going to get back to the show.
Welcome back to the Marla and Dave radio show. Marla and Dave want to talk to you. Phone lines are open at 323-284-7826. 323-284-7826.
Okay, so we've heard the single, fellas. Everybody in the chat room has heard the single. And guys in the chat room, everybody in the chat room, I'm in the chat room, but I'm using a different device that happens to be my mother's iPad. So, keep respecting me as if it were my mom.
And people in the chat room are actually saying, oh, so the secret's out. You are Mimi.
That's correct.
Moments with
My
Mimi
mother-
is Marla and a mirror.
I have an alter identity, and her name is Marlene. Correct.
Right quick, I want to get back to a question that Fabio asked Alvin directly, and I'm trying to get back to it. It was about a specific song called There's a Rainbow of Love. It has a bass solo in it. Do you know the song?
I do not know.
Sorry, Fabio, he does not know it, but we have a call on the line. We're going to get right to it. Go ahead, caller. You are on the air with Marla and Dave, Claude, and Alvin. Hello?
Yo, this is Osman. How are you?
Osman, what's up, bro?
What's up, baby
We know
boy?
you. Hi.
All right. What's up? What's up, people? I was going to say fellas, but hello, Marla. Hello,
But Osman, this is the last time. You did that before. I know where you live. I will find you.
Well, I don't have a question. I have a comment about the latest single.
Okay.
I first, of course, became interested in Take Six because of your rich harmonies.
Yeah.
But over the years, there have been a couple of standouts about the lead vocals. One comes to mind is, Joey with "I'm on My Way." When I hear that song, the way he sings it, the emotion it invokes in me, and this goes back to Claude. You and I had a voice lesson, and you spoke about that. And another one goes back to Dave on the Christmas album. He has Christmas with God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. My comment on this new song is, Dave, you've done it again, man. I mean, the lead vocals are just crazy on this one.
Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate it. But let me correct you right quick, Oz. On I'm on My Way, that is not Joey singing the lead.
Right.
That's Cedric.
That's Cedric singing the lead.
Cedric, and then
gotta be
is
kidding me.
Mark singing at the end? Or is that just in concert where we do that?
I think that's Merv.
No, I don't think there is a solo at the end. That's just
That's
when we
just
do
in
it live.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. Over the Hill is home.
Over the hill.
Ah,
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's Joey. He
Joey's
killed
killing
that. Yeah.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah. So once again, this song is awesome, and Dave, seriously, kudos on the lead vocals, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. We
So,
go ahead, Marla.
so Osman, that means that you give this song a thumbs up.
Oh, definitely, no question.
Okay, well, that's all we want from you. Goodbye.
All right, everyone, take it easy.
We only speak to thumbs uppers.
It's late here. Y'all take care.
Well, Osman, thanks for calling in, man.
Not a problem.
All right, bro. We love to have you.
Don't worry about it, guys. I'll get you guys more fans. Hang tough. Watch and see.
Marla, I don't know if we want that help from you.
What do you mean?
You're taking your love and hip hop ratchet. How do you say that? Ratchetness or ratchivity, and applying it here.
Well, first of all, can I say this too? Because I've only recently logged in to see you guys in the studio. And I feel like one of these things does not belong. And it's Dave with hair on your head. Can you just shave it? Can you do something quick? Because Alvin and Claude are sporting their nice shiny domes.
Hey,
and you are.
You know what?
I don't know, bro.
He still has a hairline. Keep it as long as you can.
Yeah,
Dave.
that's exactly.
Come on, brother.
That's exactly what I was going to
That's
say.
right.
Sooner or later, I'll probably have to get there too. But until then,
Let's just say I don't have to shave in the front at all.
I would say this.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's
Well,
just
then
say I don't have to
that's not
shave
only
below
is
the
it-
waist at all.
Wow.
Just playing, people.
That's called bald and easy. I like it. All right, so let's talk about acapella expectations, because that's kind of that is the conversation. I like to get to the root. That's the root conversation that people are really wanting to keep you in an acapella box. Is there something? Do you guys get tired of the acapella? Let's just be real. Are you ever tired of the box of acapella? Because to me, music adds so much of an opportunity to go so many places that even the best arrangement,
Well,
I
Marla,
don't think is impressive.
Marla, let me interrupt you because we have a caller once again. Caller, you're on the air with Marla and Dave, Claude, and Alvin.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Julio.
Julio, what's up, bro?
It's going great, man. I'm really happy I got through and was able to talk to you guys, man. How's everybody doing?
We're good,
Really
man.
well.
How are you doing?
Oh, we're fine, Julio. How about you?
Come on,
So,
Marla. You know I love you, all right?
Just for everyone's information, Julio is the moderator of the Take Six Universe group on Facebook.
He is powerhouse.
Yes, he's the
That
powerhouse.
is correct. That is correct. Thank you so
Well,
much for that shout
when
out.
you
I
say you
appreciate
love
it.
me, Julio, I don't really know if I believe you, because you started off again after I chastised Osman with, "Hey guys, I do not have guy parts. I'm a gal." Would you like to start again?
Well, Marla, you get a pass
Marla.
because you have my parts, as I have yours.
Dave, I do not have your parts. Stop trying to connect us.
And
Cut
wow.
it out. Anyway, so what's up, Julio? What do you think? You've been a Take Six fan and appreciator for a very long time. Talk to me about what you think about When Angels Cry.
I'll tell you what, I love the song. I really do. It's Nathan said something on Texas Universe that kind of reminded me. He said that it sounded like Join the Band and all this stuff, and he's hoping it was a Join the Band CD and all that. Honestly, listen, we're not spoiled. We really are not. We're passionate. We love you guys. We love Take Six. We love everything that you guys do. I reserve my judgment of the entire album, obviously, until I hear the whole thing, but I love the song. I think it's great. I understand what you guys are trying to do with it, with the whole accessibility and everything. So I think it's great. I'm really excited to see what's going to come down the pipeline and see what the new website's going to look like.
Cool, man. We appreciate that.
Wait a minute. There's a new website?
Oh,
Where you
Marla, I
been,
didn't even
Marla?
tell you. You haven't been to the Take Six
Dave doesn't
website.
tell the truth to his
Thank you,
wife.
Claude. You heard it come out right there, didn't you?
Claude, thanks, buddy. Thank you, Claude. But yeah, while we've been gone, Marla, we've actually started redoing the website.
Mm-hmm.
The website was kind of
Oh,
kind of played.
Let me jump in. Because
Now, Powerhouse, don't go anywhere because I have a question for
right,
you as
because
well.
Because the old website
Okay, you
was
got
so
it.
flash intensive, it basically, for lack of a better term, was broken. So we needed to fix all of that and come up with a clean sheet and a clean slate. So that's where we are now. We're working on it. It should be up very soon. It'll be much more manageable for everyone to go and check out.
Absolutely. So now that being said, Julio, I have a question for you. Now,
Okay.
in the Take Six universe, there are some fans, as you know, who really are so diehard a cappella that it almost borders on, I don't want to say rude, but it almost borders on the level of criticism. It makes it so that not all members really want to hang out in the Take Six universe.
Right.
So that
Right, and-
that being said, we were talking while the video was actually playing on the show earlier, and we were saying as much of a fan or fans we are of Earth, Wind, and Fire, we would never write into or the Earth, Wind, and Fire website or anything like that. And some of the criticism that we received, we would never actually lay it out like that.
well, that's because Earth, Wind, and Fire is still using an Etch-a-Sketch. But in the meantime,
Well, let's
Well, let me
yeah, let's let Julio respond.
let me address what you just said, Dave. I do agree, and as a moderator, what I try to do is that as long as it's not offensive to the point of, personal attacks and things like that, as long as whatever is said isn't about another group or another organization or whatever, I try to let it flow,
Okay.
You have to understand that, because it's Facebook and people have opinions and so on. I mean, that just goes with the territory. But I really do. I try my best to make sure that everything that's said on there, and you guys can definitely, I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat room right now that can attest that when things start to get a little funky, I'll step in right away and I'll be like, hey, remember that this is this.
I guess
and
the
this is
point,
that,
though,
or whatever,
Julio,
and
I
let's
think
not
that,
get carried
Dave
away
was saying,
and carry on.
I think the point,
You know
though,
what I mean?
is how does it get to that point? And I think that's where we're all kind of wondering. And I'm not saying this, I'm not asking the question of you in particular. It's kind of a rhetorical question. How it can get that way. How I don't understand. Like, if I'm a fan of somebody, I'm a fan. If I don't like an album, I just don't buy it. I just don't go in for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And let me say this right quick before you respond,
you don't say
Julio.
that.
Let me say this right quick. One of the things that I found, especially now that Marla's doing Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, there are certain people that seem like they just enjoy to say crazy things, rude things at the, just on any topic. So we're talking about, a new litter of puppies that we just had, and someone comes on and says, "F your mama." that kind of thing doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not saying that that's what the fans in the Take Six universe are doing, but some of the things that are being said, and I give you credit for moderating your group. As you know, I've come on from time to time to sort of set the record straight as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where, as a moderator, like I said, I just have to be really diligent and just make sure. But to answer, I mean, I know Claude didn't really ask the question, but it gets that way because you guys just made the perfect example that people just like to come on and start a fuss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's our job as the existing members to put the brakes on that and be like, all right, you need to calm down, or you need to go somewhere else with that.
Yeah, I think I was basically saying,
So
I think it's fascinating human nature that people do that. And I guess I come from a different time.
And I mean, unfortunately, that's just something that I can't control.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We understand that.
No, we appreciate it, man. We definitely appreciate you throughout the years, man. You've been in the camp for quite some time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for you guys to call me and say, look, we'd like you to photograph us for our new album. That's what I'm waiting for.
He's waiting on that.
I like that.
Got
I like
you.
that.
Got
I have
you.
seen some of
He
your
put it out there.
photographs
I like
online,
that.
bro. They're good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank
Now,
you.
right quick.
I hate to be the ball buster amongst this crew, but I'm waiting on a lot of stuff. So when my list gets met, then we'll call you and start working on your list. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, you know what? I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing because all of the Take Six wives and girlfriends and all that get to hear everything before anity else does. Get to hang out in the studio and all that stuff.
No, actually, that's not true.
Not on this record.
Not on this one.
Not on this
Heard
one.
anything.
We
Not on this
barely
one.
got to go in.
Not on this one?
Julio,
Okay.
and all
No,
the Take
man.
Six- And all the Take Six wives also get awakened in the middle of the night, and we also bear their children. Now get out of here.
Well, listen, I don't want to take up the whole show, but I appreciate you guys taking my call. And good luck on this next album. We're all going to be there to definitely buy it and check it out.
Thank you, Julio.
Spread
Thanks,
it,
man.
Spread it. Thank you much, guy.
All right, you guys take care. Peace out.
All right.
All right, buddy. Now, in the chat room, one of the questions that keeps coming around, Fabio was asking, so when Angels Cry is out, the new album, Believe, is going to come out in March. Does this mean that the re-release of the original album is dead?
Here's what I know. This is Claude speaking. We spent a lot of time re-recording that album, and we did it almost exactly like the first album. After a while, what seemed to happen, and this is before I answer the question yes or no. After a while, what seemed to happen was I think we found ourselves kind of in a tailspin of why are we doing this record? Mm-hmm. When it didn't come out for the 25th anniversary, we had to really look hard and long at it and, again, say, why are we doing this record? Unless there was something new to be put on it. So I'm not going to say that it won't come out, But I think what will need to happen for it to come out is to either do a reimagining of Spread Love or put a new song with that record or whatever. So we're still kind of in the conceptual stage. We have basically all of the songs recorded. But sometimes that happens. Case in point, there was a Stevie Wonder record very recently that was done that I don't think he's going to release.
Yeah, we're actually
You
part
know,
of
we're
that
on
project.
that project. You know, sometimes
two or three of
as
those songs.
creative souls, you get to a place where you say, I just don't know if this makes sense. And I think that's where we are right now. It's kind of a quagmire. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but that's why it hasn't happened yet.
But we do have an announcement that the actual charts for that very first record will be available by next year.
Yes.
For the first time, you'll
So
be
you
able
can
to
see
see
them.
what we're actually singing.
Now I'm gonna actually get into that question a little bit more after this next phone call. Caller, you're on the air with Marla and Dave, Claude and Alvin of Take Six.
Yes, good afternoon. Well, it's good night where I am in Trinidad in the Caribbean.
Hey, okay. Well, who is this?
This is Cleon Richardson. Some years ago, I had to fly over to Barbados just to hear you all.
Wow. Well, Cleon, nice to
really-
have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really digging the new song that you have. And I'd just like to say I totally understand that you have to go after things thinking in terms of your market and capturing a new audience as well. And we love the jazz. We love everything. We love the a cappella. But having a more universal approach is what is needed business-wise. So I totally understand.
Thank you, Cleon. Thank you,
very
man.
much.
Leo,
All right.
you're hired. Yes, you're on the Marla Thomas publicity team at this moment.
Well, thanks, Cleon, and keep spreading the word for us, buddy.
We will. Well, I definitely will. Thank you so much. You all have been there for me since Alliance. So just keep making that music and be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
so much.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks for calling.
That's before Dave and Alvin.
So guys, you know what?
Go ahead, Marla.
As we wind down, not even wind down, but get ready to go to the next break. That's a good point. I think that as a wife of Dave and a friend and a supporter inside his family for this group from day one, I do think that it's also it's the music business, and there's also a stewardship that is expected for you to be able to really not only spread your message, but be stewards on a business level of what God has given you. And Take Six has really, to me, not taken hold of that and considered more of the creative and what fans want and what you are capable of. But there is a happy blend of the two, and I'm kind of glad that it's being considered on another level, because I think that it'll serve a double purpose.
And we want to give a shout out to the owner of our record label, SRG, ILS Universal, Claude Villani. He's really a guy who's been in our corner, who's really making things happen for us with this project.
I'm surprised he hasn't texted me
Yeah.
during the show.
Or called in, one or the other, as well as our incredible producer, Ross Finelli. We're going to be right back after this next break.
It's time for the Marla and Dave Doghouse. Marla has something that should put Dave in the doghouse. Dave has something that should put Marla in the doghouse. You decide who gets a biscuit and who gets busted and ends up in the doghouse.
All right, so I have something that I think is going to put Marla in the doghouse, but with her best friend, Tony Sweet, as well. Now, get this. When I walked in the studio today, Tony said, Dave, you get to sit in the boss's seat. Now, how did Marla and Tony get together?
And he belongs in the doghouse.
How did you guys get together and decide that you were the boss? Hello?
Can you still see me?
Yeah, barely. No, we don't see you. We
Can
just
you-
see a
can
picture
you
of you right now. We don't know. You don't have a video feed, just audio.
Yeah, I'm having signal issues.
Yeah, that's probably because you're on the way here
you?
trying to get back in the boss's seat. We hear you though, yeah.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
The reason the reason that Tony mentioned me being in the boss's seat is very simple. It's possession. Possession is 9/10 of the law. You take your butt out of town, right? You were the boss on the stage in Japan and in Cuba. I was the boss here in LA. Me and Tony were running things. That's right, Tony. Whoop whoop.
Okay.
Pound
Yeah,
it up.
anyway, that's why you belong in the doghouse. Everybody, there are a lot of people in the chat room today, and I think they're Take 6 fans, so be careful.
You know what, Dave, the very reason that you just put yourself in the doghouse, one of the things that I wanted to put you in the doghouse for today is we've been having a constant miscommunication issue in our marriage and relationship, and you just did it again. Today,
What?
I'm going to use a current one. Claude McKnight, your homie,
Yeah,
says,
thanks, Claude.
yeah, we have a new website.
What?
Oh, you know what? I didn't tell Marla. Dave has ceased, you guys, to tell me a lot of things that are very
Well,
important
the
to my
main
well-being
thing is
in this
that the website is actually not up. Now, if you go
Doesn't matter.
if you go to the Take 6 website, what you see is a splash page that also has the information about the new single. So yeah,
Dave,
but yeah, thanks, Claude.
The bottom line is
That's right, Dave.
you're going
Tell
to the
her, Dave.
doghouse because it's a marriage, and a marriage requires communication.
That's right,
and just
Marla.
because you think it, doesn't mean I know it.
That's
and
true.
Dave has not been sharing vital information until I find it out in the most obscure of ways. Dave, that's why you belong in the doghouse.
Okay. Well,
I think he
we'll let them judge. We'll let them judge.
He wanted to surprise you here on the show. I think that's beautiful.
There's no saving it, Claude. Just let me go down in flames. I got some fire extinguisher down there. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's the doghouse. Who's going to get the biscuit and who's going to go in the doghouse? You get to judge. Let us know. Back to the show.
What's the action? You'll laugh. You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll get mad. Shut up. You'll get happy. But you won't be bored. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network.
Okay, again, 323-284-7826. That's the number to call and join the conversation. We want to thank all the callers that have come previously, and we are having a good time. Now, I wanted to get back to the thing we were talking about, the subject we were talking about in the last segment, and that is the re-record of the first album. I'm guilty. I was one of the ones who just I get bored revisiting instead of constantly moving forward. I don't know.
I would
I
totally
see Vin
agree
shaking
with
his
you.
head.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you, and I think that is back to the original thing that Marla was asking about. Do you get bored of doing a cappella? It's not that you get bored of doing a cappella. You get bored of doing the same thing. It's people don't really realize the challenge it takes to be an artist for 30 years.
Yeah.
Or 35, as it in Claude's.
Hey,
You're
easy.
Or 78
You know,
in,
the song,
in close.
the songs can be amazing.
Yeah.
Arrangements are incredible. But if you're singing the same
over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, how much tiramisu can you have, you know? And you want to challenge yourself. One of the best tours I think we've ever had was just coming back from Japan when we all were doing different things, you know? You're on stage and it's a high wire act. You must one misstep and you'll come crashing down. You need that energy every once in a while, you know? So it's not that we're bored of a cappella or bored of anything. It's you just want to see what is out there.
You want to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do something new.
And,
Well, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, and that's part of the pivoting process.
Right.
You know, you can rely on your laurels for only so long.
Right.
You know, especially in your own mind and your own creativity. Now, what that ends up doing at times is your fans have loved you in a certain box, and Marla used that word before, and box is truly it.
Right.
You know, sometimes you have to break out of that box and hopefully bring them along. It doesn't mean that they will come right away. But if the songs are great, they will come in.
Right.
Marla, you're going to have to mute that, by the way, for the record.
I saw something really funny the other night with we were flying home from Japan and the show Comedians with Cars, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He has all these amazing comedians on there, and there's the things they're talking about. It's just cracking him up. He's laughing and laughing. The most boring one of all of them was the one he did with
Jim Carrey.
George Costanza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And because
Sorry, Jim Carrey.
yeah, never mind. But it wasn't that George isn't hilarious, but because they've been in that energy, it was almost like they were kind of riff off each other, and they were waiting to go.
They were
back
doing
to
Seinfeld again.
They were doing Seinfeld,
Right.
and it was like
Right.
been there, done that.
Right.
You know, and he said I had to pull the cord because I would you know, I couldn't keep coming up with new stuff, and you become a joke within yourself, you know.
And that happens in music a lot.
Absolutely.
You know, it happens in entertainment a lot. You see these comedians, you see these artists who you may like what it is they're doing, but you're like, man, I've seen this again
Right.
and again and
Exactly.
again. Now, you may not like the new stuff they're doing, but if it's great, it will find a way to get into
Right.
you.
Right.
And that's what we're going for, is great.
And I'm going to say this, like Claude said, we're pretty much done recording the entire project. Now we just have to get it mixed, and as God would have it, that divine providence has always been a part of Take Six because of our relationship with God. And what ends up happening is now we have a champion and a place that possibly we can, as our brand starts to grow again, like it was back at the beginning of our career, more people will be able to hear the re-release once we finally do it.
Right.
So it turns out this is going to be a good thing.
Right. And that's when what he means is our champion is Claude Villani and
Absolutely.
the company we're with now.
Right.
You know, no rub against Warner's and Jim Ed or anything. That was the beginning of our career.
That was then.
That was then.
That was then.
This is now. He's embraced a new business model, and we've never had a record executive who is so invested in every aspect of what it is we're doing. I mean, it's almost scary, but scary in a really great way.
Usually you have management and the artist constantly bugging the record label. Not that Claude is bugging us, but Claude calls me 2-3 times a day. And I'm sure he calls Claude as well. He's checking in
Every
with
single
management
day.
around the clock.
Around the
Our
clock.
record label is actually pushing us and calling us and trying to pull from us what it's going to take to grow the Take Six brand. And that's an
Yes.
incredible thing.
It's a wonderful,
And can
wonderful
I,
feeling.
can I jump in and just say this to the fans? When we talk about a career that's this long, I want to actually give you guys a pat on the back, because I don't think anybody understands how much bravery it takes to make this kind of a change. And when I say this pivot, and it's a good word, pivot, I really think that if, you know, the same way that fans have gotten comfortable with hearing a particular Take Six, and that's all you want, more of the same flavor, more of a particular, when in reality, there's 32 flavors that are all blended with the same care and excellence as the flavor you love so much. It takes an open mind, and it takes somebody, it takes you guys, the creators, a fair amount of bravery to make that shift.
Right. And don't get it twisted. It
And I
hasn't been
appreciate
easy.
that.
No, and yeah, and we struggle with that, you know,
Yes.
sometimes. And I think there are pros and cons to being in a group. Part of the things that I would say is a con or the negative side is that it takes a little bit longer, sometimes a lot longer, to make a decision.
Right.
But when there are times when, you know, you're not sure what to do, someone else in the group might be sure what to do, and so you can kind of hold each other's hands and move the ship forward. That's one of the good things about it. So in this area, when we're talking about being brave and the what it takes to actually change and pivot and do something new, there are times when, you know, maybe Claude is the one that says we should do something. Maybe Vin is the one who says we should do something. Maybe I'm the one, maybe Mark, Joey, Christian, but we hold each other up. And as long as the person who's actually running with the ball is truly convinced, the group will actually become convinced as well.
Yes.
Well, I will say, I want to ask you guys a question. You know, if there was a Take Six wish list, which is what I really want to talk about at this moment, if you guys don't mind, you talk about the departure or the pivot. You talk about, you know, Vin, you just mentioned, you know, tiramisu and, you know, the same thing. As a member, if you could do anything, each of you, that you wanted musically, what departure would you make from the norm that may tickle your fancy musically as a creator?
Great.
If money wasn't an issue, if acceptance wasn't an issue, if you could just do anything you wanted, whether it be rap, reggae, anything.
Let me answer first. Interestingly enough, and this isn't a pat answer or whatever, I think for me, we're doing it on this record. We really are. This is what I've always wanted to do as our career has gone on, is to do songs where we're all in the room creating them, where we're having arrangement ideas, where we're actually having producing ideas that are outside of what has been the norm and has been the safe area for us. So there's a certain amount of creativity and a certain amount of electricity that is happening on this entire project that is exactly, for me, what I would have wanted us to do years ago. And I think we're at that place now where it's the perfect opportunity.
I'm a huge fan of Brazilian music. I would love for us to do a Brazilian project. Just the harmonies and the way they approach things, I love, love, love. I also love neo soul and just some of the grooves they come up with. So some kind of way to marry those two.
But the cool thing is, the more accessible we can be on this record, the more we can do all that other stuff too.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and before I answer, I'll say, one of the things that gets a little, I'm gonna put it to you like this: when Bobby McFerrin did "Don't Worry, Be Happy," that was so accessible. It was probably the #1 record in the country for quite some time. Sold millions and millions of units. And if you listen to the things that he's doing now, it's it's nothing like "Don't Worry, Be Happy." One of the things that I really appreciate, and we talked about Earth, Wind & Fire before, is that when you put on an Earth, Wind & Fire record, you knew almost exactly what you were going to get until some of those later years, I'd be honest with you. But I'm struggling with, once you become so accessible, how do you not try to continue to do that? You know what I'm saying? And then you step back and do a Brazilian project, or you step back and do a neo soul project. What's that going to do to those new fans that you just?
But I dare say, going back to your Bobby McFerrin reference, he's been able to do all of this stuff since then because of that huge hit.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Same thing, I remember talking to the Manhattan Transfer quite some time ago when they did Boy from New York City. That came at a time where they were doing all of this jazz stuff, and then it enabled them to do all of these other records since then. The Michael McDonald projects doing all the Motown stuff has enabled him to do all of this other stuff since then. You know, and those are all pivot moves. You know? Now, it doesn't mean, and I can't speak for anybody else in the other groups or whatever, that's the song that you say to yourself is my favorite song ever or whatever. But it brought in a whole bunch of new people. And I dare say that it's the thing that people want to hear in concert, but they stay for the rest of it too.
Right.
Now, when you say, Dave, what would you like to do? This is going to sound very funny because it's a super pivot. It might even be considered a travel in the NBA.
LeBron travels. He's considered the best.
I'm moving both feet.
All right.
I think I would like to see Take Six hook up with some hip hop artists and actually kind of get them to do their thing over what it is that we do.
Oh, dude, that's not even a super pivot. I would love that.
Well,
Okay,
dude, I'm sure that would be considered a super pivot.
Right.
But it would be absolutely super cool.
Let me ask this question, because this is a question that just comes up. As I get to be a mature woman, or as I mature in age, even though I know that there are certain things I can do, my own image of who I am as an older woman, and I say older lightly, coming on 50, there's certain things I'm not going to wear. There's certain ways I'm not going to present myself. Are you guys in your minds at this point, when you talk about musical changes and your image, are you limited by where you actually are in life, just with your career? Like, in other words, is there something in your mind that goes, that we're too old
like,
to do?
Does it make sense to do X, Y, and Z?
Right.
That's a great question.
And I will say this, Marla, you and I have had this conversation, especially as it relates to you being on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood and some of the offers that you get to go do club appearances. I say you should go. Just
and
like
I say hell no.
And
hell
you say no.
Lizzo.
And let me tell you why I say you should. It's the same reason why I want to hook up with some of these hip hop artists. They're the ones, ironically, who have the attention of all young people. So if you want to take a message to them, fortunately or unfortunately, it depends on how you look at it, that's the avenue, that's the venue that you need to actually
also. Club recently, aside from the fact you're going to get ass funk on you, have you ever tried to have a conversation with somebody in a club? What could I bring other than for them to be sucking me into a situation? Going to the club,
that is for you.
Ridiculous.
That's for you to work out. But when it comes to Take Six and hip hop, part of the interaction that I'm sure would happen would be between Take Six and whatever artist that we're working with.
Let me ask you a question, Dave.
Yeah.
So we just had an experience with a hip hop artist that didn't go so well. Something that we approved, and then something else was released.
I think
that
that's a
we didn't
different thing,
approve.
though. But go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was going to say the same thing, and I think that Claude is about to say. I think he approached us and said, "Can I just use a
Something
sample
you
of what
did,
you've done, actually, as my music bed for my track?"
Right.
I'm saying to create something completely unique together as artists.
Right.
Okay.
And here's the thing, as I'm thinking about Marla's question, and I thought it was a great question. I think what would happen is if we were to hook up with a relevant hip hop artist, he's going to do or she's going to do what they do, and they're going to make it so that Take Six fits into what makes sense in a relevant sense. It's not us trying to go out and be hip hop.
Now,
that's what you don't want to do.
And to take what Claude is saying a little further, I'm sure that artist is still going to continue to do some of the things that I don't necessarily approve of. But just like when Jesus walked the earth, there were situations that the other people in the church were like, what are you doing? This is not what we do.
Right.
And
but are you going to be Sarah, who hopes to get pregnant at 162?
She got pregnant.
She got pregnant.
It worked. we have
She
another
wasn't
caller
running behind the kid, I'm sure, but he was done. He was on the ground.
We have another caller. Caller, you're on the air with Marla and Dave on the Marla and Dave Show, and members of Take Six, Claude and Alvin. Hello.
Yes.
Hey, who's this?
This is Marcel.
Marcel, what's up, man?
How you doing?
All good. All good. What question? Do you have a question or a comment?
We just hear you breathing,
All right,
Marcel.
guys, I'm on the delay. I got you. All right.
Got you.
The question that came to mind as I've been listening and watching is simply this. How important is it now as you're making this pivot to make music that is really sort of the zeitgeist, that speaks to the time, that's poignant? That's the thing that hit me immediately with When Angels Cry.
It is of utmost importance. I think that's how you stay relevant. I think that's how you pivot properly.
I agree.
To bring yourself into the times of what's going on. That's how Bob Dylan became Bob Dylan. That's how the Beatles became the Beatles. You do. That's how Marvin Gaye
became
You know what I'm
Marvin Gaye.
saying? I'm not saying everything has to be an anthem song or whatever, but you want to look at what's going on around you and say, you know what? What can we add to this? What can we use as a salve for people who need to hear and see and all of that? And so you do that through music. Music has always been that barometer. So that's what Take Six, I think, in this pivoting season is doing now.
Yeah, Ben, you have anything to add to that?
No, I would just say, I think it's your responsibility as an artist, and we consider ourselves artists who are Christians.
Yeah.
And so, it's one thing to sing Jesus, Jesus, Jesus songs all day long, but the reality is that you're in this world, and for you to remain relevant and to have an impact is just take a look around and say,
to even minister.
right, absolutely, this is not cool. This is not cool. We should be better as a people. Whether you are Muslim, Christian, whoever, we can do better as a people and bring music that helps lift people's spirits to the place where they want to be better. Whatever your beliefs are.
It's true. And I was going to say, to add to that, in every genre of music, anything that becomes a classic, anything that's a hit, you'll find that that's exactly what happened. Whether it even be talking about, other different subject matter, but that's what happened.
Right.
It struck a nerve. It hit a chord with what was going on at that time.
At that time.
Yeah.
Well, there's a question in the chat room, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna rephrase it. I think
Well,
Fabio.
before we go there, Marcel, anything else, man?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Much appreciated. Again, my apologies for the gaffe earlier. Again, I have certainly appreciated when you have joined Stevie Wonder or others, some of these live shows, and you've had the opportunity to do that, and certainly would love to see you all do more and express yourselves in that way. Be relevant, be in ministry, I think, as you said, Ben. My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Marcel.
Marla.
Thank you, Marcel.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for calling.
All right, so Marla, it looks like we're going to have to get to that, whatever you're about to come up with, a little bit later. You want to tease us with it a little bit?
No, Dave. You're in the boss's seat, and look how you're acting.
Oh, yeah. You don't like it, huh?
I'm a kind boss, Dave. What the heck?
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're having a great conversation. It's actually it's enlightening for me as well. And I like it when you have questions that are probing. So I appreciate the Take Six fans and all the questions that are out there. We're going to get to the love game.
It's time to play the Marla and Dave Love Game. Here are Marla and Dave to explain how it works.
All right, Marla, you want to have the explanation this time?
No, Dave, you explain.
All right. Well, the Mad Love Game was a game created by Marla and me. It has the three categories. It is comprised of three categories that we think are most impactful in any relationship, and that's finance, communication, and sex.
Well, did we determine already that you're in the doghouse? Because, first of all, if Tony and I end up in the doghouse together, we will turn that mug into Disneyland. Don't get it twisted.
Anyway, but it's played by rolling a single die, and it has those categories on it as well as the Mad logo, and also lose a turn. If it lands on the Mad logo, it's wild. You get to choose whatever category you want. Claude, do the honors, buddy.
Roll that die. Roll it.
Oh, communication.
Yep. Sex has been exhausted. Sorry, fellas.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was sex. I'm sorry. I need glasses. Take that.
You know,
sex
when you
is
have
never
too much
exhausted.
Sex, you go blind.
Yeah.
Certain type.
Is that it, huh?
Yeah.
All right, here's the question. How many erections does the average man have in a single day, Claude?
The average man?
Yes, if we have to say
speak
average.
For the masses. Speak for the masses.
Oh, for the
How many
masses.
erections does the average man have
in
in
a single
one day?
Well, they say men think of sex like every 7 seconds or so.
Well,
man
if
has
you
to go to
pop
work,
an erection that much,
Yeah.
you have an aneurysm. Be careful.
He has like a life.
He does have to go
How
to work.
many
usually.
erections? I'm thinking 31.
31.
Whoa.
Vin, what do you think?
15.
15. Okay, so just for
pay
the
bills,
record,
you know.
we get our answers from the Pew Research Center, PEW, and the actual answer is the average man has 11 erections per day.
The average man.
Yes, yes.
Nowhere.
Not the 7 seconds.
No way's average.
Every thought of thinking of sex every second. 7 seconds, man.
Every 7, Dave. Every 7.
All right, so the cool thing about the Mad Love Game is that it also has a further discussion point. So when you're playing with your friends, it leads to some great discussions. The further discussion question for this particular card is, what are the 3 most common situations when a man gets an erection? Duh,
Yes.
when you're having sex. Hopefully.
When you're discussing finance?
when you're communicating about finance.
Perfect.
Alvin, if that's what's going on with you, buddy, you need to check your wiring. Something's not right.
New T-bills. Whoa.
That is
So
funny.
can you think, Mark, Vince says when you're discussing finances, Claude, what do you think?
I don't think I should answer
When
the
you wake
question.
up,
I'm
clearly.
obviously Mr. 31 a day.
So Marla says when a man first wakes up, yeah, that's true too.
That's true. Breakfast,
Eggs, girl.
lunch, dinner.
Do you see why
the gym.
do you see why you can't be in the boss's chair? Look at you guys.
The
You guys have been
101.
talking about an erection for 5 solid minutes on a game.
That's true. We're almost out of time for this segment.
Harley
Simply
Davidson.
talking about
Control.
erections. Marla, you want to add
what-
anything to those erections?
That's why there needs to be a vagina in the room. Look, you guys are out of control. You've lost it.
That's true, Marla. We're missing a little
We
bit of
just
estrogen
lost our
today, but
erection.
hey,
Thanks.
we're having fun with these erections. Anyway, thanks for playing the Mad Love Game, and we're going to get back to the show. You can buy your copy of the Mad Love Game right there in the Mad merch at www.marlandave.com. Back to the show. I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network.
Now, right quick, before we jump back into the discussion, let's get to this week's poll question. The poll question this week was, if Caitlyn Jenner transitions back to Bruce Jenner, was his or her, I don't even know how to say this, transgender journey sincere or a hoax?
Is that a thing? You can do that?
I have no idea, but I thought that
Yes.
he was contemplating going back.
Where
as
did
far
you
as
hear
we
that?
know, though, there's been no confirmation that he's had his actual penis
Yeah,
removed.
he hasn't actually gone all the way.
Right.
So he
Just
would
get
have
the
to just
implant
stop
So
taking.
once, I'm not
female
sure you can
hormones.
go back once you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah.
when you're in transition,
Well,
if he
I've-
goes back, does that make?
I'll
Does it?
say
Do you
this.
feel it was real or a hoax?
I'll say this. I've heard that they've done studies 20 years after people have gotten their procedure done and asked the people, are they happy? And a lot of them were not any more happy because that was not the issue.
Right.
It was something between their ears that they had to work out, and it wasn't a plumbing
wasn't
thing.
a physical.
Yeah. And if he truly did not do the pre-advance work, before getting that.
If he wasn't thorough,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and for what I understand, getting that final step is the final step.
Right.
You have to go through a lot of counseling,
Right.
a lot of psychological work
Right.
before they say, okay, now you're ready to do this.
I'll do a very candid revelation here on your air. A few years back,
in your transition.
in my transition, from man to Superman.
That's funny.
I had a weight loss procedure done. I struggled with my weight after a year later in life, and I had a lap band done. And without
That is news.
that is news.
That is
Yeah, we didn't
news.
even know.
We
yeah.
didn't even know.
And if you don't address
The
the
underlying,
issue,
yes.
the tools can help. But if you're fighting against the tools all the time, you will look like nothing has ever changed or nothing has ever made any difference. And it's been a struggle. And it not only now is it continuing to be a struggle, it's embarrassing that I actually had that done and nobody
Wow.
could tell.
Yeah.
So that's
a
a tool.
great point.
It's
Great
a
point.
tool. It's not
Well,
the
then that
answer.
explains the answers that we got because it's 50-50. Some people say it's sincere no matter what happens because maybe you were dealing with it and you're not sure how you're going to end up.
Right.
And so you try it and then you go back, it would still be sincere.
Right.
Half the people think it's a hoax. # playing games. The new poll question for next week is, does being a celebrity entitle the media to exploit your private life? Your options are yes, # publicity trumps privacy, or no, # privacy over press. You log into www.marlandave.com right there on the homepage. You weigh in on the poll question, and we're going to get back to the show.
Can you handle the truth? This is modern American dialogue in a mad world from two unique, fresh, transparent perspectives. This is the Marla and Dave Radio Show.
Well, as we get ready to come to a close for our show, fellas, I will say this. First, I want each of you to make this absolute. Raise your right hand.
Okay, right hands
your
are up.
hands
You
raised.
can't see us, but yeah, they're up.
You have to promise. But
Claude's is halfway.
I can see. I want you to promise that you'll share when the time is right one more song that offers a little bit something different to show us a little bit of the diversity on this project, that we can play it here on the Marla and Dave Show. You feel free to come back and deliver it personally.
Absolutely.
We'd
Yeah,
like
for
to have
sure.
that.
We
But,
can do that. For sure.
but-
Yeah.
They're asking for Alvin's mic to be turned up for some reason in the chat room. It's not really coming through, which is strange. Vin usually tries to whisper on a plane, and everyone turns around.
Everyone can hear that.
So
What are
that's
you
usually
wearing,
not the
honey?
case.
Alvin finally found his inside
I'm
voice.
trying to be a good boy today.
But anyway, before we actually close the show all the way out, I really would like to go to each one of you guys again. This time, Dave, starting with you and ending with Alvin. What I do find is impressive is that you guys have had diehard fans that are very much invested in your careers, your music, and your lives.
Yes.
So if you can give each one of you can just give a personal message, something that you would like to just share with your fans as we get ready to head out. And we're going to start with Dave. Go.
My message would be this to all of the Take Six fans. We love you, and what I appreciate most about the Take Six fans is the liberty that you guys have given us through the years to be ourselves and do what it is that we do. I appreciate that. Continue.
Claude?
I would say that, again, like Dave said, I love the Take Six fans all around the world. And what is so amazing to a fault is how passionate they are. And their passion, I think, fuels a lot of who we are at times, whether that's in a live situation or I hear from many fans through messaging. And, you know, I have a lot of fans who are friends, and they'll text me or call me, and they are so passionate and so real that it's a wonderful thing.
It's not easy being a Take Six fan in that we're not on the radio that much and not on the TV that much. So their devotion has been something that's really, really incredible. I would just say to them on a personal note, you know, leap and the net will appear. Go for it. You know, no one's ever going to give you permission to be great. You just have to know it within yourself. Challenge yourself and be the best you can be. That's what Take Six tries to do with every project and every day of our existence.
Wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I will just tell you guys, as a wife, as a friend, and as a fan, I believe that your musical excellence and your musical journey was preordained spiritually, period. I've watched what you guys have done with music. I've even heard through the years when you guys try to put something together that may even be what we even want to consider to be on the harder core side. And when the arrangements get done and Take Six gets a hold of it, it turns into this eloquent thing of beauty, no matter what, because of the blend of what your voices have been and are.
Thank you.
So as a fan, there's no group like you guys. I'm still in awe every time I see something new. As a friend, I think that you guys are unparalleled in your devotion as people to, you know, your family, and to those who know you and to those who encounter you. And Dave, as family, I couldn't ask for a better friend. So with that in mind, I just think that it's a very blessed scenario that God has chosen to put us together, and anyone who comes into this three-ring circle, even if it's on the peripheral, is always welcome. And thank you. Thank you guys for doing what you do. Thank you for making sure that you continue to do it and you continue to change, because nothing in life stays the same, but your musical excellence will never change.
Thank
I
you,
like
thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Thanks
I
for
want to
being ride or die.
before we get off and leave the show today, I want to literally go back to something that Powerhouse Julio was asking me. He, as it relates to the very first album re-release, he said, "Why don't you just put it out?" And I want to say this to all the fans: it's important as artists that you release things when it's time for them to be released. That you just don't willy-nilly sit something out there when you don't think it has the best chance to be successful. And so that's extremely important. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of fans and people who are on the periphery don't understand that. It's actually a bad idea to release something when you don't have all your ducks in a row.
It's like getting pregnant and delivering your baby early. It could survive, but you didn't give it the best odds. So keep eating your vegetables, taking your prenatal vitamin, and when it
sew
comes
that
to
thing
term,
up.
It will come to term. That's the only thing I can relate to, childbirth. Just deal with it.
Oh, man. Well, we definitely want to thank everybody who logged in. There's been a lot of people in the chat room, a lot of people calling in. Thank you for doing so. We appreciate that.
And for all the music lovers, let me pitch forward and say that it's your turn. Next week, it is finally your turn. So if you think that you have a sound that's hot, we want to hear it. Whatever the genre of music, it's not limited. Please send your songs, the song, the title, the artist name to marlatalksfitness@gmail.com by midnight Friday, October the 16th, Pacific Standard Time. And remember, we can't play everybody's song, so first come, first serve. Our son and his partner, Sonny Ray, are very talented. Everybody in the beginning is a new artist, and they're on the rise as this, they're a power duo with production and writing and what they're putting out. So I have asked them to come in next week and join me because I'm an old lady and I need them to help me determine what's hot or not, along with Dave. So we'll be reviewing your music next week. So get your songs in.
That
we
information,
have a couple of submissions. Get
that
them in.
information will be on the homepage for www.marlandave.com. Thanks for joining us on the show today. Thanks to Alvin and Claude for hanging out with us. Thanks for Tony for being the man.
The man.
And
the man.
we are Marla and Dave.
Wait. Before we go, you guys have permission to go to sleep now since you just landed from Japan. I know you guys
I've
want to
been asleep the whole show.
All right, we are Marla
right.
and Dave. See you
Talk
next
to you
week.
next week. Bye.